Hi everybody, how are you doing? It's Ms. Mozingo, and we're going to learn something kind of special. It's sometimes an end of the year project, or it's something I like to play. I like to do collaborative games, things that are kind of low stakes sometimes. So here we go. It's a game called Corpse Exquisite. So you take a piece of paper, usually an 8.5 by 11. I cut it in half. I divide it into thirds. The first thing that I do, I put my name on the top, and I usually put the class code, whoever it is. Now, some people love to use Sharpie markers, either the kind of the fine tip or the really, really thin tip. I'm going to go ahead and use the chunkier one. Oh, it's got beautiful marks. And I also label 1, 2, 3. I label each of the boxes, 1, 2, and 3. Now, the whole point of this game is working with other teammates. Could be at least 2 people, minimum of 2 people. You could have, honestly, this could be a fun family kind of a thing. But we start by the very first square is all about a head. Now, it could be the head of an animal, could be the head of some sort of little creature. I'm going to go ahead, I have a thing with birds. So I'm going to start to add in. Now, I always like to emphasize, so here's the start of my bird right here. I'm going to start to emphasize the art element of texture. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly start to add in some texture. And kids will know exactly what we're talking about. Texture is how something feels to the touch. Bumpy, rough, smooth, slimy. Now, usually after about a few minutes or so, when you're done with that first box, you're going to fold it over. You want to make sure there are little lines right there. Okay, so then you can even fold the bottom one. So just box 2 shows, you're going to hand it to the person to your right. Okay, now if you hand it to the person to your right, here it is, then the next person to the right, next person to the right, keep going all around. Now this is where you draw the body. Now, again, body of a creature. I'm going to do a robot, but I'm going to do a kind of an asymmetrical robot here. Kiddos know that I love robots. That's probably why I like Star Wars so much. Okay, sorry, you're going to get a little bit of an announcement.
All parent pickup students
Okay.
now head to the West Gym. Teachers, please watch the middle wash to dismissal chalkboard
I
for
love
when your
it.
student buses are highly free.
Okay, now I've got the second part right here. Now those 2 lines, I want to make sure those are translated onto this other side right here. And boom, we got it right here. Now, I'm then going to pass it to the person to my right to try to make sure that they can actually add to this. So you basically just keep going around and around. And it's really fun to kind of think up a variety of things you can put on there. I've got, oh my gosh, I did a mermaid tail on this one. But again, texture. And I like to even encourage kids that if you have the very bottom one, what are some of the details? Like I might even put in like seaweed, like that. And maybe some texture. If I've got some sand, there's the very bottom one. And here's the fun part. When all is said and done, and I would call it the moment of truth. I'm going to open it up. Boop. Boop. Aha! And when all is said and done, you see your full Corpse Exquisite. So some people call it Exquisite Corpse. Some people call it Corpse Exquisite. The history behind it, it was developed by the surrealists, the painters in Europe in the 1920s. So it's almost 100 years old. And they would do this as, again, it was an unending kind of a game. You could just kind of continue to add to this. But the fun part is that I would say, okay, the kiddo whose name is at the top, you get to take that home, okay? I guess you could always do rock, paper, scissors, but these are especially fun at family gatherings or with neighbor kids. If you're drawing outside, the paper could be huge, or you don't even need to have paper. You could just kind of keep adding onto it. So I hope this helps as a fun activity for your family, and see you soon. Take care.